Elie Katoa, a rugby league player at the peak of his powers.
Elie Katoa on the end of yet another kick.
Making the journey from a tiny village in Tonga to scoring a try for Melbourne Storm in the grand final.
He's just a ripping guy, representing his people and his culture so proudly, playing for Tonga.
Now there are fears he may never play again after suffering a series of massive head knocks while representing Tonga in a match against New Zealand last month.
I was pretty horrified to see the amount of force and then was even more surprised to see that he had gone on to play.
Before the kickoff, Elie Katoa suffered a serious blow to the head during the team's pre-game training. A Tongan trainer steps in to help him. After he was treated by team doctors, Elie Katoa was given the green light to play.
Kiwi still have it. McLean.
Within the first 10 minutes of the match, another head injury.
That head knock before the game is coming off again.
Katoa was cleared to continue playing. Then at the 51st minute, a third knock.
It's been through the wars, Elie Katoa.
He's pulled from the field before suffering a seizure.
Obviously, it's tragic to see what's happened to him, and I just hope he, really recovers well.
Elie Katoa was rushed into surgery to treat a brain bleed. He's now recovering in Melbourne. The injury has already ruled him out for next year. What's next? We don't know. Two key questions have emerged in the wake of this incident. How did it happen? And what, if anything, will change as a result? People want answers.
Jamie, nice to meet you. I'm Myles, mate.
Myles, how are you, mate?
Jamie Bura is from the Rugby League Players Association.
I think we've got to continue to have a look at everything we're doing, and if we need to make changes, but we also need to be cognizant of the fact that it's a physical sport, and that's also what people love about it. So it's a balance. It's definitely a balance.
For more than a decade, the NRL has had policies in place for concussion, but how it's monitored changes between training and game. During a game, independent doctors watch several camera angles to identify potential injury. There's also trained concussion spotters and doctors from each team. In training, though, there are no requirements for independent doctors. Instead, clubs have trained concussion spotters present. Spotters don't have to be doctors, they just need to complete the required concussion training. Training is filmed, but there's not as many cameras, giving spotters fewer angles to assess any problem contact. Because Elie Katoa sustained his first head knock during the warm-up, it was up to Tonga's officials to decide whether he needed a head injury assessment. They decided against it and allowed him to play.
I think it's an unusual one in that you don't often see something like that in a warm-up, and certainly not in my time. Initial view was quite distressing to see that incident take place. There's always a good opportunity, new season.
The Players Association surveyed more than 552 male NRL players and found that 27% had suffered a suspected concussion in training during the last 12 months. Of that group, 60% of these players said they'd continued to train afterwards. The Players Association say it's worth reviewing all solutions, including more monitoring of training.
Are we doing enough to identify potential concussions, to kind of taking it out of the players' hands?
The Players Union says one way to improve safety is reviewing the amount of full contact training.
We know there needs to be some level of contact, but we do feel like there can be too much. Players have identified the equivalent of about 5 contact sessions a week in a pre-season. We've had others identify the equivalent of 2 contact sessions a week.
Professor Alan Pearce monitors brain health and is one of Australia's foremost concussion experts.
For me, this seemed to be more than a comedy of errors, but rather just a serious breaches of our international consensus around concussion.
This week, the NRL has handed down breach notices over the incident. Tonga's head doctor, assistant doctor and head medical trainer have been banned for 2 years from working with any professional team. The assistant medical trainer for Tonga has been issued a formal warning. All four have until the end of the week to respond to these breach notices.
Alan Pearce says sanctions on individuals may serve as a timely reminder, but they don't change the root issue to have more involvement of independent doctors.
If the NRL are serious about athlete health and well-being, then this is as much in the warm-ups, as much in the cool-downs, not just in the game itself. It shouldn't be just only the game.
The NRL declined 7:30's interview request, saying it couldn't comment on the matter. Tonga Rugby League did not respond to any requests for an interview or comment. Christian Welch retired at the start of the year. He played for the Melbourne Storm alongside Elie Katoa. He believes by and large the code has done well to manage concussion and has experienced what it's like.
Yeah, I actually had a fair few concussions. I think I had 8 official ones. You know, I think the NRL have done a pretty good job moving in that space lately of trying to make the game as safe as possible.
He says players need to remember they have a long life after the sport.
I retired at 30, I played for 10 years. That's an amazing run of a career, but I think the average career is 3 years. You've got the rest of your life to live. You know, hopefully you have kids, you have family, you have grandkids. You want to be of healthy mind and your body and being able to enjoy the rest of your life.
What a player he has turned into, Elie Katoa.